I am Raziel.
What's up, guys? Raziel here, and today I'm going to go into a Raz rant. So this is going to be a very audio based video, so if you have shit to do around the house, you got stuff to do, you don't really feel like watching something, but you feel like opening your fucking eardrums and having a good listen, then this is the video for you. I will put some eye candy up on the screen, but that's not as important. I guess this is technically the second of my series, my first being quite a ways back with Bless Online is a piece of shit, which is still true to this day. So I'm going to call that my first Raz Rants, but this is the second in my Raz Rant series, I should say. And guys, the video game crash that I mentioned earlier, about 8-9 months ago in a video called "The Video Game Industry is Going to Crash," is coming to a head. The video game industry is heading into a crash at this point. Everything is falling apart, but in a much different way than I anticipated, in a way that's much more beneficial to the gamer, and it's not 100% the way the crash in the 80s happened to the video game industry. And what's at the heart of this crash, this nightmare, this fucking catastrophe that's going on? And it's quite simple. It's the AAA game industry is falling apart. And I'm going to go through each and every major point that's happened over the last year or so that has really pushed this to light speed. This fucking crazy train has no brakes, and it's gonna hit the wall really, really hard, and it's coming down around us, and it is a sight to behold. Get your fucking s'mores, your chocolate, your marshmallows. Let's just sit back and let's have a campfire. So to start off, we have, of course, Activision Blizzard. Sorry, my bad. And in case you haven't noticed yet, Activision Blizzard is Blizzard only in name. Activision is only interested in names, not games. They want to take over IPs. They're interested in things and names and words that are fucking magic spells, essentially, that'll make them money, riding on the coattails of actually really good IPs and good games, which the developers for have long since left the company. There's not a single one left there that is capable of making a game like they made in the past. Blizzard is no more. It is not a company anymore, and you have to accept that. Activision wanted Blizzard's name and wanted access to their IPs and nothing more. This is nothing new for the company, Activision. They've done this to Sierra Studios, many other very good game developers. They have taken, eaten, bled dry every IP they had, and then when the husk is empty, they drop it and move on to the next. And Blizzard was no exception. But let's start out on a game that they had their claws in for quite a while now, and that is the Destiny franchise that Bungie develops. As we saw, Destiny 2 fucking failed miserably on its release. It was a game that was clearly made for shareholders. It was stuff with more microtransactions than a goddamn Twitch thought, and they were doing all kinds of stuff to try to save this game. They were backtracking, they were covering up lies, they were hiding experience, putting literally false data in the game to hide the fact that they were throttling the amount of experience players were earning, so that would force you into their microtransaction shop. And once they were outed, they started making fucking excuses. Had some of the most absolutely embarrassing live streams for reveals of their DLCs that I've ever seen in my whole goddamn life. It was so sad that I was shedding some tears of laughter, of course, seeing their 2 tokens and a blue bullshit. And they've spent the last fucking year getting the game back to Destiny 1 levels, and they have, to their credit, they achieved this, making a current product as good as a game that released over 5 years ago, to try and make it successful again. But of course the shareholders weren't happy, and so what happens? They say, we can fix it, don't fuck us to death with a pineapple. We're gonna fix everything. Oh, how are you gonna fix everything? We're gonna put more microtransactions in the game again. Really? The millions, hundreds of millions of dollars they made from profit from Destiny 2's initial sales and from Forsaken sales, and on top of the microtransactions they already sold wasn't enough for these fucking shareholders. Because guess what, guys? Shareholders, these companies I'm going to be referencing are shareholder companies, and they're not even game development companies. They're not in the business of game development. They're in the business of game publishing and pretty much screwing over as many people as they can to make a quick buck. So that's what happened to Destiny 2. They're in the middle of this now where we're waiting to see how their microtransactions are going to get shoved back into the game to try to appease the shareholders, because all the people in charge, all the people making decisions for these big AAA companies are people that have likely never touched a video game in their life. They're a bunch of fuckbags in suits sucking each other's dicks in a round table and talking about, you know, how they love to fucking piss on a $100 bill just to see the look on Ben Franklin's face. Christ. Alright, moving on. Still though with Activision Blizzard. Diablo Immortal failed. Now, God, I made a couple videos about this already, and I said I wasn't going to make more, but you can't bypass this. Diablo Immortal was the biggest fucking embarrassment that I've seen in gaming in a long time, with the exception of Fallout 76, which is coming on this list. Diablo Immortal failed so hard because they took a franchise that was born and raised and bred a huge fan base on PC, eventually moved to console, and then they said, hey, everybody who liked our game, fuck you, this game is going to phones in China because we want the Chinese dollar. We want, you know, to take advantage of as many children over there that we can. So, yeah, Diablo, the IP, is now just that. It's an IP. It's a name. Again, Activision's into names, not games. So they want to use the Diablo name to make a quick buck and make a shitty, shoddy, fucking reskin Chinese version of an ARPG on mobile to try to milk microtransactions out of everybody. Not to mention the fact that they said that most of their most talented developers, which to argue the fact that most of the most talented developers aren't even at the company anymore and left long ago, i.e. Blizzard North, but I digress. The ones that are still there that, you know, are worth a nickel have all fucking moved to mobile platforms, making a World of Warcraft, or I guess a Warcraft IP themed Pokemon Go in the works. What a fucking joke. I mean, this kind of shit just brings my piss to a boil to see what they do to franchises like this. And I knew this was coming the day they announced that there was a merger between Activision and Blizzard. But anyway, moving on to the next big thing that Blizzard's been up to lately. When the Diablo Immortal, you know, backlash kicked in, what did they do? Oh yeah, that's right. Started deleting comments, doing very much extreme left political things, such as, you know, censoring people that didn't like their game, their product, cutting out fucking dislikes, cutting out comments out of the YouTube videos. And it's even gone a little bit further. News has surfaced recently that they're even banning people on their own fucking forums for their games for pointing out the mistakes that have been going on. They just flat out ban them, and then when they're asked why they got banned, they lie about it. And they've been actually caught in their lies. I'm sure you can find videos all over YouTube about it because it's something they just broke today. Anyway, moving on. The biggest thing Blizzard fans, I guess I should now call them Activision fans, have to look forward to in the Blizzard IPs is they're re-releasing Classic WoW, and it's being developed for the sole purpose of exploiting nostalgia to put WoW the current retail version of the game on life support, because you have to be subscribed to the current version of the game to get access to the classic version of the game. So they're exploiting players' love for the past and players' love for a game that actually was worth a damn by getting you to continue paying for their trash that they make now. And they're also, you know, really heavy on releasing remasters of games that actually were good in the past because they were developed by Blizzard North and the actual good developers and the founders of Blizzard when they were still around. Because they know their products now are nothing short of, you know, shit shows. Just absolute shit shows. Just complete fucking skid marks on the road of a dog that had fucking worms and was dragging his ass across the street. That's the equivalent of Blizzard games today. They're just complete garbage. Another Activision Blizzard complete mess that's going on right now. Black Ops 4. It's going to be dead, you know, much in the same fashion as all Call of Duty games, midway through next year, because that's when the next Call of Duty is going to get announced like fucking goddamn clockwork. But the It's probably got Black Ops 4 probably has the most egregious microtransaction scheme to date, where they're literally you got items for pre-ordering, and then they're literally taking the items out of your inventory and then putting them up on the cash shop to resell them back to you. How this is not a crime and there's not, all the executives and major shareholders of Activision Blizzard aren't rotting behind bars right now is fucking beyond me. Oh no, that's right. That's because all the laws in the video game industry protect the developer and the publisher and not the consumer. Go figure. See how that works. Okay, and it's getting pretty nasty here, and I'm still just only on Blizzard, Activision Blizzard. I don't even know why I keep adding the name Blizzard. We all know what Blizzard really is. It's, they went on it. Activision took Blizzard down on a date, then they fucking roofied its ass, they raped its ass, then they killed it, and then they skinned it, and now they're wearing its coat and pretending to be Blizzard when they're really just, typical Bobby Kotick that should fucking hang himself with dental floss Activision. But I digress. Let's move on. There's been a lot of articles recently, too, about leaked information from Blizzard employees about how fucking miserable of a place it is to work right now, how morale is into the fucking basement, how everyone is so dissatisfied with being an employee there, how everyone's paid significantly below industry standard for their jobs, can barely afford to live, let alone, enjoy life. And Blizzard is exploiting and taking advantage of their love and passion for games and for their Blizzard's IPs. To essentially make them work for cheap, to work like they're illegal immigrants, for Christ's sake. That they can't register for taxes, so they can't get paid higher wages, and they can't complain about it if they get jack shit. And of course, because of all of this, I think Activision Blizzard has had enough for this video right now. But their stock is in a free fall and has been ever since BlizzCon, and it's not showing signs of improvement. Little bumps up here and there, but then it goes back down. So It's evidence. It's evidence right there that Activision is done. Activision's true colors have been known for a long time, but now gamers are finally fed up with this shit. Now let's move on to the next company. So EA is next, and if it's even possible to be worse than Activision Blizzard, EA takes that fucking crown. I mean, voted years and years in a row as the worst fucking video game company in existence. And we can easily see why. Their stock's in a free fall as well. Why? Well, of course, we had the atrocity that was Battlefront 2 earlier last year, where it was so full of microtransactions and calculations were made that you figured out you'd have to spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to get everything in the game that you wanted. It was a complete joke, and it was a disgrace to an already franchise that's already been shit out enough with its terrible, god-awful fucking recent movies. And it just proved that so easy to say Activision. EA was just completely out for a cash grab and to take as much money as possible from people, and they were caught with their fucking pants down. But Battlefield 5 is the most recent giant fuck up that's been going on because, players are finally starting to speak with their wallets. The lead designer of Battlefield 5, one of the top CEOs, top dogs there at EA, when he was being queried by player bases is how historically accurate Battlefield 5 was going to be, he instantly turned it into a left politics, you must hate women, you must hate all this stuff, and then said, if you don't like it, piss off, don't buy it. And so people didn't, and people didn't buy it, and it's no surprise that he has since resigned because he fucked the company even harder than it fucks itself on a regular basis, kind of EA style, where they get a cactus and just go to town on their anus. But anyway, EA is beyond help, and we've all known that for a long time, and it's no surprise their stock, is falling so goddamn fast. I mean, it's falling faster than a gay guy's pants at a gay bar. It's ridiculously fast. So, to top it all off, here's the mice pellet fucking topping on the shit sundae. Is now EA is going to court with Belgium for literally breaking the law in Belgium. They're breaking the law in Belgium, and they're fighting for their right. EA wants to protect their rights to instill gambling habits into Belgium's children, and they don't like that loot boxes and microtransactions and things of that nature are illegal in games in Belgium. And instead of going, well, okay, we're just going to back off, we'll either redesign the game for Belgium or just not release it there. No, they're going to try to fight them in court because everybody knows that you don't really experience a true childhood until, you know, all you can think about is stealing your mom's credit card and buying and all kinds of useless items in games. And on top of that, why not just fucking, you know, steal someone's car, take a trip to Vegas, and you know, try your luck there, because, you know, that's what EA seems to want their player bases to do.
I was just trying to help the children.
Oh, you like kids, huh?
Oh, yes, sure, of course.
Oh, I bet you know some fairy tales then. Hey, Danny, tell him the one about the worthless prick that gets his head chopped off with an axe.
And now on to the next company, and this one actually does kind of make me a bit sad. We've known their games have been buggy for a long time. They release some shit sometimes that, you know, eventually forces their communities to fix. But overall, I'm a fan. I was a fan of the company for a long time, and it's sad to say that this is on the list now. But Bethesda. Sorry, why do I say Bethesda? Am I some kind of drunk fuck? Anyway, Bethesda, Fallout 76. Oh god, what a joke. Fallout 76 is a broken, buggy shell of a game that's built on an old engine that was designed for the sole purpose to take advantage of fans of the franchise. It was broken in almost every single way. It has like virtually no content. It's buggy, it's boring, it's drab, it's dull, it's fucking dishwater. I mean, and there's a class action lawsuit, one of many, against them right now for false advertising, and they're being legally forced to give refunds on digital copies of the game. And they tried to get around that in the first place by, even if you bought a physical copy, there would just be a cardboard disc in the game that showed you a download link, and in their little agreement you clicked, of course it said only physical copies can be refunded. But guess what? Physical copies for this fucking piece of shit didn't ever even exist in the first place. It's so crooked, so fucking sideways, and Bethesda, you've been caught with your goddamn pants down too. They just couldn't resist. They couldn't resist doing this bullshit. You know, because it's microtransactions are like a $50 billion a year industry, and they're trying to take advantage of it, just like everybody else. They want it. They can't help themselves. They want to get a piece of the greedy pie, and it's come back to bite them in the ass hard. And you know what? They had a huge chance to repair the damage this game had done to their fan base by, you know, pulling the game, giving refunds of their own free will, and then saying, we're going to refix this game and re-release it because you guys deserve better. And if you say no company would ever do that, bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Square Enix did that with Final Fantasy XIV. Square Enix is a shining example of what you do to retain player base when you give a shit about your IP and you give a shit about the people who love your IP and love you as a company. They continued to support the shitty version of 14, removed the subscription fee instantly, and while they were fixing it, completely rebuilt the game from scratch on the side, eventually shut down the original game with a huge world-ending event, gave the game for free, and all the players that were screwed and got burned by the original have a permanent discount on if they continue to play the game on a subscription, and built a fantastic game now that's actually doing so well they have to add more servers. It's probably the MMO that's doing better than any MMO on the market right now, but I digress. Fallout, they didn't do that. Bethesda did not do that. They continued to just, you know, piss that urine right in the fucking eyeballs of all of their fan base. And they don't give a shit because, you know what? Money. That's why. Because money. And these are just some of the companies that I'm talking about. Ubisoft is another one that's made some huge fucking mistakes in the last couple years. And, you know, to Ubisoft's benefit, at least they try to fix their games after they come out shitty, shoddy, buggy catastrophe. But I digress. There have been some terrible games that have come out and have showed how awful things really have become in the AAA industry, such as Shadow of Mordor getting, you know, the Lord of the Rings game that was jacked full of loot boxes, and they had to completely take them out of the game, which revealed how the entire game revolved around those in the first place, because the game was unbalanced and didn't work without microtransactions, and they had to completely rebalance it. Of course, we had Bless Online, which is a huge piece of fucking shit, one of the biggest cash grab MMOs ever that's already failed, dead, gone, nothing left. Of course, we had Konami, who forced Kojima out and tried to use his IP of Metal Gear to make Metal Gear Survival, which, you know, failed miserably. And what ties all this shit together? Microtransactions. Micro fucking transactions. And you know what? The time has come, my friends. Shit is going to change. Shit has to change. Belgium and a couple other European countries have made loot boxes and microtransactions of that nature illegal. And guess what? Now we have news that the United States, the FTC, has confirmed to be investigating loot boxes and microtransactions of that nature. And why? Because they're fucking gambling. And gambling isn't legal in every state. So, what the fuck is the game industry to do? You can feel the sweat beads dripping off their face because the end may be approaching. It may be a while out, but it's approaching to where they'll actually have to make good products again. They'll actually have to, you know, not push people down and butt fuck their dead corpses and steal their wallets like they've been doing over the last, you know, decade or so. And it's beginning, you know, gratuitously worse each and every year. And now I think the hammer's starting to come down. Players are backing out by the droves out of not purchasing games by these companies. The stock of these big companies is proof of that. And on top of all of that, now we have the governments getting involved because it's gotten so fucking ridiculous. So of course, you know, these big AAA companies get their soy boy extreme leftist political agenda social justice warriors planted into the game journalism industry to try to defend these multi-billion-dollar companies. But we see right through that horse shit. We know that that's not, you know, going to stop us from, you know, going to suddenly make us feel bad about ourselves and fill us with white guilt or black guilt or whatever kind of guilt you want to put a label on and keep buying their trashy shit products. Nope. That shit isn't happening. Gamers are wisening up. We're not buying their microtransactions. We're not buying their bullshit. And, I mean, just listen to this bullshit response that the Entertainment Software Association said about loot boxes in defense of them. And I quote, "Loot boxes are one way that players can enhance the experience that video games offer. Contrary to assertions, loot boxes are not gambling." Oh. Fuck me. Loot boxes aren't gambling? Oh, hold on a sec. Let me look something up real quick. Because I completely be wrong here. Oh, no, I'm right. Here it is. Here's the definition of gambling. How are loot boxes not gambling? Read the definition in the fucking dictionary, you goddamn knobs. Look at it. It's right in front of your fucking face. Loot boxes are very clearly gambling. Anyway, back to the quote. They have no real world value. Well, if they have no real world value, give it to players for free. You know, put them in the game. As rewards in the goddamn game, you dumb pricks. Oh, that doesn't make you, you know, hand over fist, dollar big money in your face. God damn it. Anyway, back. Players always receive something that enhances their experience. That's false. You get shit, you get duplicates, you get crap like that all the time. And they are entirely optional to purchase. They can enhance the experience for those who choose to use them, but have no impact on those who do not.
Whatever that means, you fucking peasant.
Oh, except for the fact you see some guy in some cool fucking armor, some cool shit, and you're like, hey, I want to be like that guy. How do I get that shit? You know, what achievement do I need? What thing do I need to do? Oh, no, you just have to have a credit card and swipe it 30 times until you get lucky. That's not fucking gambling, and if that's not taking advantage of people, I don't know what is. And so, guys, the crash is here. Everything's coming to a head. Activision Blizzard is burning to the ground. And thank God for it. It's sad that it had to take the complete and utter destruction of a company like Blizzard for it to happen. We've got EA, you know, the worst company ever. Their stock's in a free fall. People are resigning there because they can't recover from this. They can't recover from this fucking nightmare. Bethesda dug themselves an early grave, and it's gonna be, they're gonna be hard pressed to get out. All I can say is if Elder Scrolls 6 isn't a huge success, not just in sales, but isn't a polished, you know, less buggy game than its predecessors, they're done too. You know, now there's some rays of light here, guys. There's still some positives to talk about in this rant video, and the rays of sunshine are companies that are still out there that are making games for the gamer, that have employees that are passionate and are still making games that they would want to play themselves, that are trying to better, be better than everybody else, trying to top the best games every year. Companies like CD Projekt Red, Rockstar, bunch of other indie studios, a lot of them even crowdfunded or made by developers that left other companies such as Blizzard. Square Enix. I know Square Enix, a lot of people consider Square Enix as a huge AAA company, and it's a behemoth of a company. But it's a company that publishes its own games. It isn't bought out and owned by one big giant company. Square merged with Enix. Enix was a great developer before they merged. They made the Dragon Quest series. And of course, Squaresoft made the Final Fantasy series. And they admired each other, and then they merged and worked together. And they have had a couple stinkers here and there, but overall they make high quality games with not a whole lot of bugs. And they fucking actually take feedback, and they're passionate about their projects. They love their games, and they want us to love them too. Again, going back to the Final Fantasy XIV example. What they did to save that franchise, because they knew if they just let it slide and let it continually shit on their fans, that it would ruin their most profitable and best IP forever. There'd be no recovering it. And so they took action to prevent that. They have pride. These companies, they say, have pride in their work, and it shows. So, what's my advice? Open your wallets for companies like these, and close it for all these other motherfuckers. They can go eat a dick. They can eat a bouquet of dicks. Fuck these guys. Fuck them up their stupid, greedy asses. Speak with your wallets. Accelerate the crash, and let's get to a place where companies like this don't exist anymore. Anyway, guys, this has been Raziel. Thanks for tuning in. If you like my content, be sure to subscribe, hit the alert bell, follow me on Twitch and Twitter.
Oh, come on, he's a miserable cocksucker fucking asshole. You hate him, admit it.
And, come have some fucking rum with me when I stream, and let's have a good time. Other than that, guys, as always, keep it real.